Hi, my name is Andrea Walls. I'm the founder and creative director of the Museum of Black Joy, which is a creation of my own imagination, using my camera and my connection to Black culture. I look for it, I find it, I record it. I'm really interested in documenting non-traumatic Black life in Philadelphia and beyond. I feel like we need equal time for joy. And my leadership style, I just really am looking to catch folks getting things right, and then support their joy of the work that they do. There's a quote by Khalil Gibran that I like, that work is love made visible. So I try to create an atmosphere where the work that we're doing is aligned with the ways in which we learn, the ways in which we feel successful, and then I kind of try to build infrastructure beneath that joy to sustain the work and the worker. I guess I've always been an artist, but I never really claimed it when I was younger because I was of that first generation of Black families that could have been anything. You know, you could have gone to any school, and I had the audacity to want to be a poet. And there wasn't a lot of support for choosing an artistic career. People always wanted to know, well, how are you going to make a living as a poet? And so it took me a long time to get to the place where I just claim it. And once I made that decision, things got easier, resources became available. And so I've just followed the joy that I always had of creative processes, beginning with language and then later through photography and digital art. This is one of my favorite stories. As I was cutting class in 10th grade at Overbrook High School back in 1979, I wandered into the library and Sonia Sanchez was there just speaking to some other young folks. And I just sat and listened and I thought, oh, that's what I am. I'm one of those, whatever that is, just the sound of her voice, the care that she was offering, reflecting back what she heard the young people say, not what she thought they should know. She was really listening and reflecting back, and that just really marked my spirit. I feel like what I'm doing with my projects through Museum of Black Joy is kind of repairing the hurt that I experienced as a young person who kind of felt invisible for the things that really felt magical to me. You know, there was a lot of unresolved trauma generationally, and so I feel like our generation gets to pay attention to those things that maybe our parents' generation wasn't able to resolve in their life because they were really just keeping a roof over our heads and keeping us fed, and they didn't have that luxury of considering what might make their life more joyful. And so, you know, as I grow into my work as an artist, I just really want to make sure that I'm paying attention to young people, people of every age, and just reflecting back. The thing that I hear when they, when they find some magic, I don't want to crush it with, well, how are you going to make a living with that? You know, I don't want to prioritize capitalism. I just want to, wrap them in an embrace of acknowledgement of what I hear them saying. You know, for most of my life, those relationships that have really sustained me have been literary or artistic. Reading the work of Audre Lorde, these things that just make sense naturally to my spirit, and don't get lost in trying to have conversations where you have to keep doing that work to hone down to what do these things mean. I think personal relationships take a lot of work in the way that my relationships with the artists that inspire me, they just let me be me. So I think that that's really where my long-term love relationships are connected to artistic inspirations. And then the joy of short-term relationships is also a kind of a fun thing for my Sagittarius soul. Love has always been important. You know, there's so much trauma, there's so much confusion, there's so many places that we can hurt. So a simple kindness, and we're in the season of like Eagles winning, and just being on the street, people will like, go birds, and there's like this really quick, charged connection with people that's not complicated. Like, we don't have to work through anything. So any act of kindness, anything where someone sees into you and doesn't make it harder, for me, that's love. And, you know, those are the things that carry us over through the hard times. I recently connected to a quote by Lucille Clifton, who's one of my favorite poets. And somebody asked her why she chooses joy. And she said, I choose joy because I have a capacity for it. And she said, everyone doesn't. And I found that stunning. And I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I definitely have a capacity for it. And choosing joy as a practice, I can always like return to the thing that is meaningful to me because I choose joy. I tune it like a radio. So if it gets off frequency, I just turn the dial back. And it's like, if there's not joy in the process, that's not what I'm doing.